Multiplication is an operation that shows the total value of equal groups. We can multiply different numbers, including whole numbers and decimals. Decimals are values that include a whole and part of a whole separated by a decimal point. Decimals are all around us, and we use them in our daily lives. Measurements are common examples of decimal numbers. For example, when buying a rug, we think about the cost and size of the rug. We can use multiplication of decimals to determine the area of this rug. Notice that the length and width of the rug are measured to the nearest tenth of a meter. In this video, we will focus on multiplying decimal numbers that include tenths. Let's calculate the area of that rug by multiplying 2 5/10 meters with 3 1/10 meters. Use estimation to predict the area of the rug. If we round 2 5/10 to 3 and round 3 1/10 to 3, then the estimate is 9. This is a high estimate. If we round 2 5/10 to 2 and round 3 1/10 to 3, then the estimate is 6. This is a low estimate. The area or product will be a value between 6 and 9. We can use an array model to organize our numbers. An array model helps us think about multiplication as an area. In an area model, we think of one of the values as a length and the other value as a width. When the length and width are multiplied together, the product is the total area. To multiply these numbers, we organize the digits by place value. We have 2 5/10 and 3 1/10. In the area model, the length of 2 is longer than the length of 5/10. The width of 3 is longer than the width of 1/10. Multiply the value of each digit in one number with each digit in the other number. Multiply 3 with 2 and with 5/10. Multiply 1/10 with 2 and with 5/10. These values are called partial products. Add together the partial products to get the total product, or area. Multiplying in parts and adding the parts together is called the distributive property. The partial products can be calculated in any order. We can start with the whole numbers. 3 multiplied with 2 is 6. 3 multiplied with 5/10 means 3 groups of 5/10, or 15/10. 15/10 is the same as 1 whole and 5/10. 3 multiplied with 5/10 is equal to 1 5/10. 1/10 multiplied with 2 means 2 groups of 1/10, or 2/10. Multiply 1/10 with 5/10. When multiplying a part of a whole with another part of a whole, we get smaller pieces. Start with 5/10. Divide the 5/10 into 10 equal parts. 1/10 of 5/10 is 1 out of 10 of each of the 5/10. This is 5 parts out of 100 total parts, or 5/100ths. Add all the values together to determine the total product of 2 5/10 multiplied with 3 1/10. Remember, when adding decimal values, it is important to add together digits of the same place value. 2 5/10 multiplied by 3 1/10 is equal to 7 75/100ths. The area of the rug is 7 75/100 square meters. If the product is close to the estimate, we can be confident in our work and the answer. We estimated the product is a number between 6 and 9. Is the product in this range? Another way to multiply these decimals is to line up the digits by place value. We can use a place value chart to help organize the digits. When using the distributive property, multiply the value of each digit in one number with each digit in the other number, and then add together the partial products. Multiply 2 with 3, and with 1/10. Multiply 5/10 with 3 and with 1/10. Then we add them all together. The product of 2 and 3 is 6. When the whole numbers are multiplied with tenths, you get tenths. 2 multiplied with 1/10 is 2/10. 5/10 multiplied with 3 is 15/10. When tenths are multiplied with tenths, you get hundredths. 5/10 multiplied with 1/10 is 5/100ths. These values in the chart are called partial products. When we add them together, we get the total product of the two decimal numbers. Remember, when adding decimals, always add together digits of the same place value. It is helpful to put zeros in the chart. We get 5/100ths, 17/10ths, and 6/1s. Remember, one group of 10/10ths is a whole, so 17/10ths is the same as 1 and 7/10ths. The product is 7 and 75/100ths. The area of the rug is still 7 and 75/100 square meters. How does this compare to our estimate? You can use an algorithm like this to multiply whole numbers. An algorithm is a step-by-step procedure used to solve a problem. The same algorithm can be used when multiplying decimal values. When using the algorithm, line up the digits on the right. Then, multiply the digits of the second number with the first number. Multiply 1/10 with 2 and 5/10. And then multiply 3 with 2 and 5/10. When you multiply a tenth with a tenth, you get hundredths. 1/10 multiplied by 5/10 is 5/100ths. When you multiply tenths with whole numbers, you get tenths. 1/10 multiplied with 2 is 2/10. 3 multiplied with 5/10 is 15/10. There are no hundredths. Remember, a group of 10/10 is the same as one whole. 15/10 is the same as one whole and 5/10. 3 multiplied with 2 is 6. We already have a 1 in the ones column. 6 more makes a total of 7. Add all of the values. Remember to add together digits of the same place value. The product is 7 and 75/100ths, or the area of the rug is 7 and 75/100 square meters. Notice that we get the same answer using each model, so we can be confident about the answer. Compare the place value chart model and the algorithm. Remember, 15/10ths is the same as 1 and 5/10ths. Notice the partial products in the algorithm. Adding these two partial products gives 25/100ths. We can see the same value in the algorithm. When we add these two partial products, we get 7 and 5/10ths. We can see the same value in the algorithm. The same partial products are used in the algorithm and place value chart. Here is another example. 43 and 7/10ths multiplied with 1 and 2/10ths. Use estimation to predict the product of the two decimal values. 43 and 7/10ths is close to 44. 1 and 2/10ths is close to 1. One estimate is 44. 1 and 2/10ths is more than 1, so a better estimate is more than 44. Use an array model to organize the digits and multiply the decimal numbers in parts. Organize the digits of each decimal by place value. 43 and 7/10ths has 3 digits. Label one side with 40, 3, and 7/10ths. 1 and 2/10ths has 2 digits. Label the other side with 1 and 2/10ths. This array model will have 2 rows and 3 columns. When we use the distributive property, we multiply the value of each digit in one number with each digit in the other number, and then add the partial products. Multiply 40 with 1 and with 2/10ths. Multiply 3 with 1 and with 2 tenths. Multiply 7 tenths with 1 and with 2 tenths. To find the product of 43 and 7 tenths and 1 and 2 tenths, add together the partial products. The partial products can be calculated in any order. 40 multiplied by 1 is 40. Multiply 40 with 2 tenths. When we multiply tenths with a whole, we get tenths. 40 multiplied with 2 tenths means 40 groups of 2 tenths, or 80 tenths. 5 groups of 2 tenths is 10 tenths, which is a whole. 20 tenths is 2 wholes. 40 tenths is 4 wholes. And 80 tenths is 8 wholes, or 8. 3 multiplied with 1 is 3. 3 multiplied with 2 tenths is 6 tenths. 7 tenths multiplied with 1 is 7 tenths. Multiply 7 tenths with 2 tenths. When multiplying a part of a whole with another part of a whole, we get smaller pieces. Start with 7 tenths. Divide the 7 tenths into 10 equal parts. 2 tenths of 7 tenths is 2 out of 10 of each of the 7 tenths. This is 14 parts out of 100 total parts, or 14 hundredths. Remember, when we multiply tenths with tenths, we get hundredths. Add all the values together to determine the total area, or product, of 43 and 7 tenths multiplied with 1 and 2 tenths. Remember, when adding decimal values, it is important to add together digits of the same place value. The product of 43 and 7 tenths and 1 and 2 tenths is 52 and 44 hundredths. We estimated a product greater than 44. If the product is close to what we estimated, we can be confident in our work and the answer. Is 52 and 44 hundredths greater than 44? We can also multiply these decimals using a place value chart. A place value chart organizes the digits by their value. Use the distributive property. Multiply the value of each digit in one number with each digit in the other number, and then add the partial products. Multiply 40 with 1 and with 2 tenths. Multiply 3 with 1 and with 2 tenths. Multiply 7 tenths with 1 and with 2 tenths. 40 multiplied with 1 is 40. When whole numbers are multiplied with tenths, we get tenths. 40 multiplied with 2 tenths is 80 tenths. 3 multiplied with 1 is 3. 3 multiplied with 2 tenths is 6 tenths. 7 tenths multiplied with 1 is 7 tenths. When tenths are multiplied with tenths, we get hundredths. 7 tenths multiplied with 2 tenths is 14 hundredths. Remember, when adding decimals, always add together digits of the same place value. There are 4 tens, 3 ones, 93 tenths, and 14 hundredths. Remember, one group of 10 hundredths is 1 tenth. 14 hundredths is 1 tenth and 4 hundredths. We already have 93 in the tenths column. One more makes a total of 94. One group of 10 tenths is 1. 94 tenths is the same as 9 and 4 tenths. We already have 3 ones. 9 more makes a total of 12 ones. 12 ones is the same as 1 10 and 2 ones. We already have 4 tens. One more makes a total of 5 tens. The product is 52 and 44 hundredths. How does this compare to our estimate? Use an algorithm to multiply these numbers. Line the digits up on the right. Multiply the digits of the second number with the first number. Multiply 2 tenths with 43 and 7 tenths. and 1 with 43 and 7 tenths. When you multiply a tenth by a tenth, you get hundredths. 7 tenths multiplied by 2 tenths is 14 hundredths. When you multiply tenths with ones, you get tenths. 2 tenths multiplied by 3 is 6 tenths. We already have 1 tenth. This makes a total of 7 tenths. When you multiply tenths by tens, you get a whole. 2 tenths multiplied by 40 is 8. Multiply 1 with 43 and 7 tenths. A whole number multiplied with a tenth is a tenth. There are 0 hundredths. 1 multiplied with 43 and 7 tenths is 43 and 7 tenths. Add all the values. Remember, add together digits of the same place value. The product is 52 and 44 hundredths. Notice that we get the same answer using each model, so we can be confident about the answer. There are different models for multiplying decimal numbers. Choose the model that makes the most sense to you. You might use different models depending on the numbers in the question. Each model uses the distributive property. The value of each digit in one number is multiplied with each digit in the other number. Then the partial products are added together. A helpful model for organizing digits is the array model. Understanding place value is important for multiplication. Grids can be used to visualize decimals. Ones multiplied with tenths are tenths. Tenths multiplied with tenths are hundredths. Tenths multiplied with tens are ones. A place value chart is a helpful model for organizing digits by their value. It is helpful to fill in spaces in the columns with zeros. You may need to carry or regroup. This means taking a 10 from one column and changing it to one of a larger place value in the column to the left. It is important to use estimation as a strategy to check your work and confirm your answers. When you need to purchase items, work with measurements, or any other situation that includes decimal numbers, you can use these strategies to help you solve problems. Watch this video again or others in this video series if that might be helpful, and talk to your teacher if you have any questions.